Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to do the Arsenal player ratings versus Slavia Prague, and we're going to look at how the Gunners got on individually in the Europa League quarter-final first leg clash against Slavia Prague at the Emirates Stadium. So the first person on the list is Bert Leno, and he was not really tested on the night except for a smart stop after Borrell's strike was deflected off Hector Bellerin. He may feel he could have done more with the goal right at the end, but he was not helped by poor marking from his defenders, and I thought he made some crucial saves, even the save he made before the goal, and I thought he did have a decent game. So for his performance today, I think it's fair to say he deserves a 6. So the next person on the list is Hector Bellerin, and he had a few moments where the delivery could have been better when in attacking positions. For the Spaniard, he was captain on the night, but a defensively solid display. And I thought when it comes to Hector Bellerin, I thought he was decent here and there. He did make some runs, but I want to see him more overlapping. I want to see him do something more with the ball, and he's always underlapping, and that's something that doesn't suit our right wingers. So for his performance, it's fair to say he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Rob Holding, and he was not wearing the captain's armband, but he was by far the biggest leader on the pitch for Arsenal. The 25-year-old was vocal throughout, and he was composed on the ball as well. And when it comes to Rob Holding, I thought he was composed, calm, and he had a good partnership with Gabrielle Magalias, and he slotted it nicely for David Luiz. He will be out for the next 4 weeks or so. So I thought it's good that he deserves a 6 for his performance. Next up, we got Gabriel Magalias, and he was solid enough at the back after a poor final half hour against Liverpool at the weekend. He was not afraid to dribble out, but wasn't really helped by the lack of movement in front of him. And a game like this, it depends on your defenders and what they do with the ball, because Slavia Prague, with a nice defense, they're not going to press you straight away, so it all depends on the defenders having the most time on the ball. So for his performance, he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Cedric Suarez. It was a competent enough display for the Portuguese left-back, but he simply isn't Kieran, and we clearly missed how much Kieran means to this Arsenal squad. The inability to whip in left-footed balls when overlapping Willian or Smith-Rowe was sorely missed, as the Gunners lacked their usual threat down the left-hand side. And I think even there were so many occasions where Cedric Suarez was overlapping, but he just has to put a ball with his left foot. It doesn't matter if your ball goes somewhere else, just do it next time, Cedric Suarez, because Kieran is going to be out for the season, I think. So he gets a 6 for his performance. Next up, we got Thomas Partey, and it was a poor night on the ball from the Ghanaian. He was capable of so much better with his passing range. He was solid enough defensively, but also will have wanted more from such a big player on such a big night. And I thought he made so many sloppy passes. I thought he overthought every single pass he made, and then he led to errors in my opinion. He could have just done what he normally does and do his normal business. So for his performance, he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Granit Shaka. He was solid on his return to the side after illness, and he did well on the ball as Arsenal looked to play out from the back. It was nothing spectacular, but a decent display from the Swiss midfielder. And even though I don't see nothing spectacular about Granit Xhaka, but I really saw what we missed against Liverpool, his solidity in the defence, and when it comes to the midfield, I think there's a presence about Granit Xhaka, and I think it's fair to say he deserves a 6 for his performance. Next up, we got Bukayo Saka, and it was by far Arsenal's best performance on the day until he was subbed off, and he was getting inside behind constantly, and probably should have had a goal for his efforts. And I thought if he was a bit more clinical with the ball, and he could have got 1 or 2 or 3 goals, and he was really dictating the play. He was telling the senior players to put the pass like this. And I thought he was the best player in the game, and I think he deserves an 8 for his performance. Next up, we got Smith-Rowe, and he struggles to get involved for much of the game, but he despite had some good movement off the ball. He found some good spaces drifting out to the left, but he really missed the overlapping runs of Kieran, and with someone just coming back from injury, you did expect that from Smith-Rowe at a young age, and there's a lot of heavy burden on this young kid, but he's still doing his work here and there. But today, I thought it was a bit shaky here and there, so he deserves a 5 for his performance. Next up, we got Willian, and I thought it was a really flat display from the Brazilian. It was in many ways symptomatic of the team's display as a whole. He had a free kick effort that hit the post, and that was just a rare highlight. And he still hasn't discovered his first Arsenal goal for the club, and hopefully it'll come at a crucial time, maybe next week. And we have to wait and see if Willian can go at the level he was at like a few years ago and 3 weeks ago. So he deserves a 5 for his performance. Next up, we got Alexander Lacazettes. And on the nights where he was given the nods over Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, the Frenchman missed not one but two huge chances for Arsenal. He was on his heels for many of the balls put in by the wide players, and he did not show some good signs of link-up play as well. And he had two big chances. If he puts that away, he would probably be starting against Slavia Prague the next week, and he didn't. So maybe Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will be back. When Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang came back, he looked hungry, he looked that he wanted to start, he was upset by that performance, and he wants to show more to the Arsenal team, and he deserves a 4 for his performance. And next we move on to the substitutes, and we first got Gabriel Martinelli, and he immediately increased the tempo of the Arsenal attack with his direct approach that was lacking earlier on, and it makes you wonder why he didn't come on earlier. That's the problem that I always have with Mikel Arteta. Why not play Gabriel Martinelli? You're playing bukayo, Shaka on the right, just play Martinelli on the left. But when he came on, even that 10 minutes or 15 minutes, he looked really good, and I think for his performance he deserves a 7. Next up, we got Nikola Pepe, and when Arsenal needed composure in the clutch moments that Willian delivered, he would have thought his calm finish was enough to win the game on the nights where the Gunners lacked quality for most of the parts. But he was a weak clearance from the corner, though that meant that the finish went unrewarded. And if it didn't touch Nikola Pepe, and if he actually cleared the ball properly, it would have been his nights. He would have been able to celebrate it. All the Arsenal fans would have been singing his name, saying his praises. But he has to always do something stupid and something dopey, and it leads to that situation. And he's unrewarded again, once again, and he deserves a 7 for his performance. And next up, we got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and he looked fired up when coming on, and he missed a good chance, but he made up for it with a perfectly weighted ball for Nikola Pepe's goal. And you can clearly see that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang wants to play for the Arsenal team. He wants to do everything he has. He wants to put 100%, he wants to put 110% effort, and I think for his performance he deserves a 7. And finally, we got Dani Ceballos, but I thought he came on too late to influence the game, so I'm not going to give him a rating at all. So these are my player ratings for Arsenal versus Slavia Prague and on the players, but I really think this is a huge game in the second leg, because the players have destroyed it from the first minutes. Yes, all that 10 minutes here and there, that beautiful football, the one-touch passing looked all nice and beautiful, but at the end of the day it turned out 1-1 draw. So all that just went to waste in my opinion. Hopefully they start to perform from the get-go. Hopefully Mikel Arteta has a big word with this player, because his job's on the line now in my opinion, and hopefully we see something, we see some light at the end of the tunnel. But other than that, guys, remain blessed. Stay tuned for the next video, and peace.